Today we're navigating the quaint cobblestone charm of Copenhagen, a city that offers more bicycles than breathable air, and where the history is almost as dense as the local pastries. Let's take a sarcastic stroll through the timeline of Copenhagen, shall we? Founded by the ever-cheerful Vikings in the good old days of the 10th century, this city has been everything from a squalid fishing village to the capital of the Danish Empire. It's been besieged, bombarded and burned down more often than a celebrity chef's kitchen. Today, Copenhagen stands as a beacon of urban design and livability, provided you can afford to live here. Copenhagen is renowned for its design, democracy, and paying more for a beer than you do for a meal back home. It's a city that decided it was too cool for cars in many areas and made bikes the king. This is where you can cycle from your minimalist studio apartment, that's real estate speak for tiny, to one of the world's oldest amusement parks without breaking a sweat, unless it's mid-July. And then you might just melt like one of their famous ice creams. Speaking of amusement parks, let's talk about Tivoli, the granddaddy of them all. It's like stepping into your grandma's attic. If your grandma was a fan of vintage roller coasters and pricey hot dogs. That's charming, historic, and the perfect spot to feel nostalgic about a century you never lived in. And now, the nightlife. When the sun sets, which in winter could be just after lunch, Copenhagen transforms. It's like watching a librarian let her hair down. The city may be known for its quiet cafes and hygge lifestyle, but it harbours a cheeky side once the streetlights flicker on. From the hipster-packed meatpacking district, Kødbyen, to the chic bars of Nyghavn, where the waterfront view is as spectacular as the prices, the nightlife here is as diverse as the UN. Just a lot more fun. So, lace up your walking shoes, or better yet, hop on a bike, and join us as we uncover the spots in Copenhagen, where the locals keep the party going, even when the winter night starts at 4 in the afternoon. It's going to be legendary, or at least you'll tell your friends it was.
First stop, Las Ramblas, where every tourist thinks the party of their life awaits, only to find overpriced drinks and souvenir shops selling stuff you'll regret buying in the morning. It's the perfect place to start your night, if you enjoy mingling with other lost souls, wondering where the real Barcelona is. Las Ramblas after dark is like the Vegas Strip's less classy cousin who studied abroad once and never lets anyone forget it. Here the night is young, the drinks are overpriced, and the street performers are just waiting to make uncomfortable eye contact, so you feel guilty walking away without tipping. This boulevard is where diets go to die. Prepare your taste buds for an onslaught of tapas that range from, oh, this is nice, to, I guess it's edible, if you close your eyes. And let's talk about the sangria that's so sweet, you'll need a dentist appointment by the end of the night. The clubs along Las Ramblas are an anthropologist's dream. They offer a unique glimpse into the natural habitat of the party animal in its prime, complete with mating dances and territorial squabbles over the best spot at the bar. Entry fees are a small fortune, ensuring you understand the true cost of living it up in Barcelona. Don't forget the souvenir shops, open late to cater to your regrettable decision to buy a Barcelona t-shirt at 3 a.m. It's the perfect memento to remind you of the night you can barely remember, but definitely can't forget. As you navigate this neon-lit gauntlet, you'll dodge promoters promising the best night of your life, pickpockets hoping you're too distracted to notice them, and street vendors selling everything from glow sticks to mystery meat kebabs. It's an adventure, a test of will, and a lesson in urban survival all rolled into one. So arm yourself with a sense of humor, a tight grip on your wallet, and maybe a pair of comfortable shoes. It's going to be a long night. Las Ramblas doesn't just offer nightlife, it serves up a slice of life.
We're checking out Kødbyen, the meatpacking district of Copenhagen. Not to be mistaken with its New York cousin, Copenhagen's version is less about meat now and more about meeting people who think a good night out involves organic cocktails and discussing the merits of sustainable art. Kødbyen, once the stomping grounds for butchers and early morning cattle auctions, is now where the hip and the trendy gather to butcher the dance floor instead. Yes, it's all very chic and slightly pretentious in a way that only a repurposed industrial district can be. By day, Kødbyen looks like any other historical meatpacking district. Think wide open spaces with cobblestone streets, lined with large, white-tiled buildings that used to house all sorts of meaty operations. But as the sun sets, these old slaughterhouses light up with neon signs, transforming into a bustling hub of nightlife activity. You might still get the occasional whiff of its past life, but that's probably just a vegan burger joint, trying to recreate meat flavours. The real fun starts after dark when Kødbyen fills up with a mix of enthusiastic young professionals, art students and tourists who read that this is the place to be in some travel blog. The area boasts an impressive array of bars, clubs and eateries, each trying to outcool the others with industrial chic decor and menus that feature more adjectives than items. Want to sip a craft beer in a brewery where the decor consists of nothing but exposed pipes and the lingering spirit of 1,000 cows? Kødbyen has you covered. Fancy a cocktail made with ingredients you can't pronounce at a bar where the lights are so dim you might accidentally flirt with a coat rack? You guessed it, Kødbyen is your spot. And let's not forget the food. Because what's a night out without lining your stomach? From high-end restaurants serving up deconstructed dishes that look like an art project, to street food vendors dishing out everything from Korean tacos to Danish hot dogs. It's a culinary paradise, provided you're willing to pay a little extra for the ambience of eating in a former meat locker. So, grab your most ironic t-shirt and your eco-friendly tote bag and head down to Kødbyen. It's the perfect place to experience Copenhagen's nightlife without the Viking raids, but with all the raiding of your wallet. Just remember, in Kødbyen, at every night is a chance to pretend you're cooler than you actually are. Kongens Nightlife. Copenhagen's answer to, can we make a square both historically significant and ridiculously expensive at the same time? Yes, they can. Kongens Nightlife, or King's New Square, is where you go to feel fancy and see how the other half, or maybe just the top 10%, has fun. It's all about upscale bars, chic restaurants, and a sense of history that reminds you this place has been cool way longer than any of us have been alive. Located right at the heart of Copenhagen, Kongens Nightlife is not just a square, it's a lifestyle. Surrounded by some of the city's most iconic buildings, like the Royal Danish Theatre and the historic Hotel d'Angleterre, the square is less of a nightlife hub and more of a nightlife with an old school tie. Here you can rub shoulders with the well-dressed elite, or at least with people who own more than one type of tie. If you fancy a drink, you're in luck. If your wallet can handle it, the bars around here don't serve beer. They serve craft experiences, and the cocktails, they come with enough garnish to start a small garden. That's the kind of place where the bartender likely knows more about mixology than most of us know about anything. You'll get your drink, but it might come with a lecture on the origins of the juniper berry. Dining at Kongens Nightlife is an experience too. It's an opportunity to eat things you can't pronounce in buildings older than your country. The restaurants serve everything from traditional Danish fare that's been fancied up to cuisines from around the globe that have been given a Danish twist. Because why have sushi when you can have sushi with a side of pickled herring? And don't forget to dress up. Kongens Nightlife is not the place for your I Heart Copenhagen t-shirt. Here, the unofficial dress code involves blazers, designer bags, and an air of nonchalant sophistication. It's where you pretend not to care about the bill because you're too engrossed in discussing whether that play at the Royal Theatre was truly groundbreaking or just ground. So if your idea of a night out includes spending a bit, read a lot of money, discussing higher culture, and on sipping cocktails that could double as art pieces, Kongens Nightlife is waiting for you. Just remember, you might need a second mortgage to truly enjoy yourself. Cheers to a night at the King's New Square, where every hour is golden hour as long as your credit card holds up. Nørrebro, the neighbourhood in Copenhagen that proves you can indeed mix drip with glam and somehow not have it end in disaster. If you're into eclectic vibes and possibly tripping over a vintage bike or two, this is your paradise. It's the Brooklyn of Copenhagen if Brooklyn was filled with more Danish people and fewer bagels. This area is where the cool kids play, the hipsters multiply, and sustainability is more than just a buzzword. It's a way of drinking your overpriced organic beer. Now let's talk about what really matters, the nightlife. Nørrebro thrives after dark like a nocturnal animal that has just had a shot of espresso. The streets are lined with bars that look like your grandmother's living room, if your grandmother was into mid-century furniture and indie rock. And the clubs? They're the sort where you can dance next to someone who knitted their own sweater and is on a first-name basis with their barista. The main drag, known as Blackguardskade, is a carnival of neon lights and cosy cafes turned nighttime beer halls. Here you can find everything from craft beer bars, where the brews have more flavours than you thought possible, to cocktail dens that serve drinks so complicated you need a PhD to order them. But Nørrebro isn't just about alcoholic explorations, it's about cultural ones too. This neighbourhood is as diverse as a United Nations meeting, only much cooler. You'll meet everyone from artists discussing the nuances of postmodernism to programmers debating the best coding language for creating their next startup. It's like a live-action LinkedIn, but with more beer and less job hunting. If you're feeling peckish after all that socialising, the food scene in Nørrebro will not disappoint. It's a smorgasbord of international cuisine. From Middle Eastern eateries serving falafel that will make you weep tears of joy, to North American-style diners where you can get a burger that's half the size of your head. So, grab your most ironically branded t-shirt and your appetite for both food and fun, and dive into Nørrebro's nightlife. It's where you go in Copenhagen when you want to party, but also want to say you went to a cultural hub. Just watch out for the bicycles. They outnumber the people and have the right of way, especially at night.